Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday. The S&P 500 was down almost 0.8% today. It was actually down a bit more, so it kind of rallied back up a little bit at the end. It got down to about 1.2% during the middle of the day. It was responding to the letters that have been going out, stating basically what tariff these countries would have to pay. They've been working on negotiations, and some things are happening behind the scenes, it looks like, especially with Europe. But they had warned over the weekend that they were going to be sending out about 10 to 12 letters. They're actually saying they might be sending out more over the course of this week to different countries, just letting them know what their tariff is going to be. And maybe it's the beginning of a negotiation or not, who knows? But 25% on Japan and South Korea, 30% on South Africa, up to 40% on some of these smaller countries also. So um, obviously, this is one of the things we were talking about before. We had this pause that comes due July 9th. The one good thing we did see out of today is that the tariff that they're talking about actually won't start until August 1st. So there is a little bit of a window there with less tariff than might have happened. It's not starting on Wednesday anyway. And so, but we're at 10% with most of these countries after that pause. And so, the negotiations are going on, and that's kind of what I was afraid of. They're looking for something higher than 10%, although there is some word that maybe we could end up at that level for Europe, which would be a good thing, I think. But so it just continues to drive up our average tariff, with some of these different countries coming in with fairly high, trade with us here in our country. So, we'll have to wait and see again. I've been saying that for quite a while here, what type of impact these are going to have. Obviously, the stock market doesn't like it, at least today. Although I will say that I bet you anything the dip buyers are going to come in here and continue to drive this. We saw that, I think, today when the market got down 1.2%. Again, the whole thought process, I believe, that the market is operating on is that either the tariffs won't have a big impact or that Trump will back off on those tariffs if they do have a big impact. And so the market could be a safe place to be. My concern, and one of the reasons we're still holding back, a little bit of our stock market exposure, is just that although you might be able to back off on those tariffs when things start to have trouble, if they do, you might not be able to save whatever else starts to cascade to the downside during that period of time. In other words, it could be too late. And so you're basically saying to yourself, okay, we trust Trump to back out if he needs to, but we're also trusting him to back out at the right time if he needs to. And I'm not sure anybody can do that quite right. We saw in 2008, a whole different group of people really kind of messed up with the Lehman Brothers bailout, decided not to do the bailout, and we ended up with this huge, drop, another 30% after Lehman Brothers failed. So sometimes it's really difficult to see what's connected to what, and so you get pressure in one area of the system. And I'd say that's the biggest risk, besides the uncertainty that is causing, for consumers and CEOs. The biggest risk is just something can happen here that even if we try to back out of these, it might be a little late and could cause some, problems that the market would have to deal with, especially in the area of earnings. So we'll see that might not transpire. I still like our position of, kind of having, a presence in the stock market, but not a full presence in the stock market until we can kind of feel better about what's going on. I do think these tariffs are looking quite high altogether. So hopefully it's just negotiating tactic to kind of get something in place to stimulate that. They did leave this window to August 1st, which makes me think that they're still trying to get some numbers together that might be more solid and hopefully would be lower than what was put out today. So anyway, we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Look forward to being able to talk to you about this tomorrow. We'll see what they do then. All right, thank you very much.